We cannot go another day without directly addressing the plank in our own eye, without addressing the problems in our own commands and in our own formations. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit. Underneath the woke garbage is a deeper problem, and a more important problem that we are fixing and fixing fast. Common sense is back at the White House, so making the necessary changes is actually pretty straightforward. Think of it as the golden rule test. Jesus said, "Do unto others that which you would have done unto yourself." It's the ultimate simplifying test of truth. The new War Department golden rule is this: do unto your unit as you would have done unto your own child's unit. Would you want him serving with fat or unfit or undertrained troops? Or alongside people who can't meet basic standards? Or in a unit where standards were lowered so certain types of troops could make it in? In a unit where leaders were promoted for reasons other than merit, performance, and warfighting? The answer is not just no, it's hell no. This means at the War Department, first and foremost, we must restore a ruthless, dispassionate, and common sense application of standards. I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men, or troops who are not fully proficient on their assigned weapons, platform, or task, or under a leader who was the first, but not the best. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. If not, they're not standards. They're just suggestions. Overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters. An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. Of course, we know our unity is our strength. They had to put out dizzying DEI and LGBTQI+ statements. They were told females and males are the same thing, or that males who think they're females is totally normal. They were told that we need a green fleet and electric tanks. They were told to kick out Americans who refuse an emergency vaccine. They followed civilian policies set by foolish and reckless political leaders. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service.
Caroline Leavitt is Donald Trump's White House press secretary. She is willing to lie to no end. She is willing to say anything she needs to say in order to defend MAGA and defend Trump and defend the right wing. And this morning, Caroline Leavitt appeared on Fox News and she was asked about the Michigan shooting in which a Trump t-shirt wearing, Trump lawn sign having, anti-vax, anti-abortion Trump supporter shot up a Mormon church. All political violence is unacceptable. Of course, it just so happens this was a right-winger. And Caroline Leavitt is going with it was an attack on Christians line that Donald Trump floated on his Truth Social. Important to remember that they only consider Mormons Christian when convenient. This is absolutely one of those times.
The FBI director tell you about the shooter? What do we know? What we know at this point in time is that he was a member of this Michigan community, that he is a veteran of our United States Armed Forces. He served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq. His family is cooperating with the FBI, and so they are currently trying to dig in and get to the bottom of why he committed this heinous act of violence. It's unfathomable. And as the president rightfully put in his Truth Social yesterday, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians. And the Trump administration.
Notice how she says, we have no idea of the motive at this time, but it seems like the motive was to attack Christians. When she says this appears to be a targeted attack on Christians, she is speaking to motive. But at the same time, she says, let's not assume anything about motive. What she means is, don't assume anything about motive if it points to being a right winger, but assume that the motive was targeting Christians if that points to it being a left winger.
Is fully committed to not only investigating these crimes, but prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law, but also working very hard to prevent them, to see if there's red flags. The FBI is going to treat those as public safety emergencies and investigate them to try to prevent such violence from taking place in our country.
So she's checking all of the boxes. She's talking about the individual without mentioning any of the right-wing credentials, any of the right-wing social media history, the Trump lawn sign, the Trump t-shirt, the anti-vax, the anti-Gretchen Whitmer. She doesn't mention any. So box number one has been checked by Caroline Leavitt. What a good job she's doing, right? Number two, while saying we need to wait for motive, if you're going to assume anything that's not good for Trump on motive, she says, it seems pretty clear that this was an individual targeting Christians. I believe the shooter was also a Christian, not a Mormon, but a Christian. And so if this is a religious violence, it's Christian on Christian violence in that sense. And then also the bigger picture of never acknowledging the gun aspect to this. They will ultimately end up with whatever this guy's political beliefs, whatever this guy's religious beliefs. This is simply a lone nut job. That is all that this is.
Radical left is causing this problem, not the right, the radical left.
For 30 years, right-wing terrorist attacks, seen here in yellow, far outnumbered those on the political left. As NBC News reports, from 2011 through 2024, an average of 20 right-wing terror incidents took place each year, compared to an average of nearly 3 left-wing incidents during that same period. The number of attacks and plots roughly doubled in the last decade. If the government does shut down, traditionally, workers are furloughed, and then when the government reopens, they come back and they get paid. The president is suggesting, well, actually, we may just permanently fire a lot of them.
Yeah, I would just simply say House Democrats are not going to be intimidated by his threats. I understand that the president and House Republicans have forgotten that Congress is a co-equal branch of our government. House Democrats have not. And at the end of the day, we don't work for Donald Trump. We work for the American people. And I also just think this discussion, this debate that we're having can't be considered in a vacuum. You have to consider the context of what the president of the United States has been doing to the federal government for the last 9 months. He has dismantled agencies by executive fiat. He's purging the federal government of civil servants at land management agencies like the Forest Service and elsewhere, ignoring congressional appropriations, pursuing his political enemies, politicizing the Department of Justice, indicting them. It's ridiculous. And at the end of the day, to expect that Democrats would endorse this kind of activity and support a Republican budget bill that exacerbates the cost of living crisis that they have created, in which they have made everything more expensive for Americans and for Coloradans that I represent, is ridiculous. That is not, there's no credible argument that could be made. They know that, as I said, these are not serious people. So, they control the Congress. They have a majority in the House and the Senate. They have the presidency. They have an obligation to fund the government. Their inability to do so is gross incompetence. And I think the American people, you see this in the empirical data that you all have talked about just this morning. I think the American people will make clear that they blame the Republicans for being incapable of funding the government.
One thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government. government over a dispute, and you want to shut it down. You keep
No,
talking about
The
it.
last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened
20
it up very
times.
quickly. And
20
I
times.
don't want to do what you did.
20
But,
times
Chuck,
you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wool. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said
okay,
it.
you want to put that on
You
my...
said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay.
MAGA has a major closeted gay male problem. It is busting at the seams, you guys. And I think this is one of the reasons why they're acting so crazy. We all know Grindr exploded after Charlie Kirk's funeral. Everybody's up there praising Jesus, then going out and doing gay stuff at night. Same thing at the RNC. So Kylie, the producer of our show, has been doing some research, and she has some things to share with us. Kylie.
Hi.
Hi, Kylie.
Okay, so we've got a little slideshow.
Okay.
It's a few MAGA politicians and influencers who are anti-LGBTQI+ that the internet...
Hey, here's a message for Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Pay attention, bud. This is for Mike Johnson. If you're not Mike Johnson, you can keep scrolling, or you can stay here and listen to what I have to say. Hey, Mike, you have until Wednesday to swear her in. Wednesday. Or I will release your Grindr profile and your IP address. I bring receipts, bitch. You're not going to sit there and actively work against LGBTQ rights and democracy. It is treason. Yeah, I'm calling you out for treason. You have until Wednesday to swear her in and let democracy take its course, or I will release your Grindr profile and your IP address. Connects both to you, Mike. The choice is yours. Do the right thing. Because I'm petty. And I'm not above this bullshit. Go fuck yourself. Well, to say the last 24 hours has been stressful and chaotic would be an understatement. I have been talking with a lot of people, including a fantastic team of lawyers. And I want to assure everyone, I am not a danger to myself or others. I am in a safe place. I have discussed this with other people. I am no longer the only person with this information. It is backed up multiple times. This in no way was a shakedown for anything. I stand to benefit nothing from this. I'm safe. My lawyers are figuring out next steps now, and I'll be laying low.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, The moment you've been waiting for. Chug it chug. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me okay? Let's see. Am I coming through? All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I can hear myself. All right, everybody. 9:46 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. And right now it is already 79 degrees. Expected high today of 91. Thank you, Aaron, for those thumbs ups. And I see Aaron was first. Sorry for being a little late today. I was just running late, and I forgot to even post the upcoming show. Usually I do it the night before, and I forgot to even do it, so maybe that's why we only have 29 watching. Usually we have a little more in here by now. So I just posted the upcoming live stream like 20 minutes ago, probably, or maybe 30 minutes ago. So anyhow, I was running a little late today. Sorry about that. But we're here now. We're here now. So good morning, everybody. Do you guys feel safer? Did Pete Hegseth make us all feel safer? He's going to somehow make our military, which is pretty damn good to begin with, somehow it wasn't good enough for Trump because it was too woke. So I guess he's gonna put our military to sleep. Maybe I guess a sleepy military is better than a woke one. Is that the message? I don't know. Anyhow, let me say hi to everybody. We got Aaron was in here, popped in first. Thank you, Aaron. We got Jen up the base is here. AM is here. Still looking for the FM. I'm still looking for FM. Let's see. We got Sandy Foltz is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Damon Dog, the big dog's here. On the way home from the dentist, I was first like just saying, hey. Nick Rich is here. I hit the like. Good day, loungers. Hey, Nick Rich, good to see you. That was at 9:30, so I'm about 17 minutes behind you. Invisible River's here. Hey, Invisible River, good to see you too. I appreciate you. Guys, make sure we like, subscribe, and share. Let's get the show out. Since I was remiss in my duties, I think we're a little low today. And we are operating like a bunch of Republicans, a bunch of lousy, rotten Republicans with a deficit of thumbs ups. Let's at least get to a balanced budget. Nick Rich says, Heggie is a jerk off. A total asshole. I couldn't have said it better myself, Nick. Nick Rich says the new U.S. military is totally fucked. Invisible River says, would you want your child to pay for all this? You don't pay, just run up the bill. Yeah, I wonder how many, like, hundreds of millions of dollars they spent to get all those generals and I guess they're mainly generals and the staff and everything flown in, all the security details, everything that went with it. When they could have done the same thing. He could have made his speech, and they could have just watched it from wherever they were at. They didn't need to be there. This whole Trump administration, they will shit money. They will flush money down the toilet for the most stupid ass things, and not want to spend a dime on things that are really important. Like SNAP and Medicare and things that actually are beneficial to people and keep people alive. They don't want to spend one fucking dime on that. But they'll spend lavishly on any other thing that fucking Trump has on his whim, AM says, looking at this dude, Pete, hope and pray these generals all walk out in unison. These guys took a pledge to protect the Constitution, not the president. I understand the sentiment, and I agree with it, I guess, but I'm kind of hoping that they don't, and I don't think they did, because who would they replace him with? Total loyalists. I mean, if these guys stay in, they can still kind of go, well, fuck you, fuck you, we're gonna do what we're gonna do, whatever. But if they all left, if they all got up and left, then all that's left are the total fucking Trumpers, and I don't think that would be good either. So, but I understand the sentiment. DPD 5844 is here. Hey, DPD, good to see you. Jolie's here. Hey, Jolie. So now we are at full mod capacity. Josh is here. Did I say hi? Did I say hi to Josh? I don't. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to read that. CR's here. We have CR. We have AM, but we don't have any FM, but we do have CR. Hello, CR. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Thanks for popping on in today. Aaron West says super chat goal is up. LFG. We've got the goal up. James Jaramillo is here. James Jaramillo, good to see you. Thanks for popping into the old driver's lounge. Hey, William. William's here. Good to see you, William. Good morning to you. I'm just scrolling down here. Mad Max, Slava Ukraini. Absolutely. Let's see. I didn't put anything in. I didn't get any new memes really, so. But we should probably always have this one up. That one should always be up, probably, until they get released. And I'm not even going to fix the crookedness of it. I think it's fitting. DPD 5844 says breaking news: Joint Base McGuire Dix. That's a hell of a name. In Lakehurst, New Jersey, is on lockdown. Everyone has been ordered to stay inside until further notice. Building 2903, no fatalities. It's just a everyday thing now. I don't know if this is a shooting thing, but let the craziness continues, right? Lynn is here. Lynn says the tyrant wants a shutdown. He wants no federal workers. He wants everything privatized. And people want to say that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are weak. I even posted something in the name of the progressive radio station list on Facebook. The I Had It podcast posted something where they were bashing Schumer and Jeffries, and I just left a comment on there saying, well, you do know how much you do know how Congress works. You do know that it's about majorities, and Hakeem and Schumer are in the minority in Congress. They have no power. There's not much they can do. If you want to make them strong, then start voting for more Democrats and get the majority. This isn't who you think it is, says No House Sparks today. I believe he should be on at 3:00 this afternoon. He's been doing this for years and years and years and years and years now, but you might be new to the whole thing. I don't know, but Hal Sparks has always really has never had a Tuesday and Thursday morning show, except for maybe some rare exceptions. Rarely, very rarely. He normally takes Tuesdays and Thursday mornings off. That's why I do this time slot. I only have 33 watching. I need to have the 1,500. Where are the other 1,500 people? I mean, I'm no Hal Sparks, but if you guys want to come in and hang out, have a place to hang out, you can hang out right here on the old Trucker John Driver's Lounge. Yeah, and Nick confirms that. He says Hal Sparks does an afternoon show on Tuesday. Should be 3 p.m. Pacific time zone. I don't know whatever time zone you're in. You're going to have to figure it out. I think you can probably do that. You can just contrary to someone's belief, Hal Sparks has not been fired, as far as I know. That's funny how there's some people just keep saying that. Let's see here. Yeah, there's AM again. Lynn says the last time we had a shutdown, the tyrant was in charge. Yeah, funny how these Republicans, the Republican voters and supporters, all want to say that they're Republicans because they're the party of small government, and that they're the ones that know how to be fiscally responsible, and they present themselves as though they're so great at at governing and everything. And yet when they get in, all they do is spend like drunken sailors. They run the deficits and the debts up to trillions and trillions of dollars. I've said this before, and then the Democrats get in and we got to clean up their mess. We got to do some governing. We got to bring in some income. We raise some taxes on the rich a little bit, a few percent, and they fucking act like you fucking gouged out their eyes or something. We start bringing down debts and deficits. We start bringing down inflation. We start bringing down unemployment. We start raising the GDP. Things are getting going, and then the fucking people don't show up to vote, and the Republicans get back in, and then they repeat their shit all over again. Except this time it's like on steroids, because instead of just doing the normal running up debts and deficits like they do, and have rising inflation and those things, now we do have this really unhinged wannabe dictator in charge who really wants to take it to this whole new level of really tearing up the Constitution and being the leader for the rest of whatever life he has. And then probably he would just have Don Jr. would be the heir, and it would just be the royal Trump family from here on out. And that's pretty scary thought. Pretty disgusting, right? Josh, does the lens have a smudge? I don't know. Is there something? There's a little. I think it's just a little separation in my mustache or something. I don't. Other than that, I don't see anything. So I don't know. James Jaramillo, has anyone heard anything about the Trump RX bullshit yet? Other than that weird post that he put up, and a few things of people kind of making fun of it. I'm telling you, he must have been watching Elysium on wherever they were showing it. Paul Burrows is here. Hey, Paul, good to see you from up there in Idaho. Paul says, just got back from St. Maries, Idaho, to Lewiston, Idaho. Got a run, getting ready to go back to work at the Lostine River, Oregon. Out. Well, thanks for popping in. I do appreciate you, Paul. Paul's up there working and trucking and moving stuff. Mover and shaker up there. Sandy Foles says tomorrow is a government shutdown. It looks like it, Sandy. It looks like it, unless they do some last minute somethings, some last second at the, at the last possible second, but it looks like it's coming. And I say, you know what? I've been talking about this general strike on January 1st. I say that if they're going to shut the government down, then we should shut the fucking government down. We should shut the country down. Is what we should do. If they shut the government down, we should do our general strike like tomorrow. No school, no work, no shopping, no nothing. No going to movies, no going to bars or restaurants. Two can play at this game. They want to shut it down, we'll shut down. Mr. Spock is here. Hey, Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Is that down there somewhere? Mr. Spock says if they don't obey, Nick Redge, he'll throw an axe at them. I'm not sure if that was that might have been mid-thread. I might be mid-thread already. 70B2 is here. Hey, Steph, good to see you. 70 says, hello, everyone. Lurking and listening, making breakfast, and can't chat just yet. Although you just did. Well, have a good breakfast. Have yourself a very good breakfast. Roxanne79 says the military was not impressed with the demeanor. Oh, with the demeanor, I guess. Bully more DEI hires speech Hegseth had. It was all crickets. Good. Plus, I hear Keggs is all paranoid for his life all day. Maybe don't fuck with the military. Wow. So he was paranoid. Well, probably because he hadn't had his morning bourbon yet. He probably thought, I better not tip a glass back. I better not, hit it too hard yet this morning. Or he might have had one glass of something, some scotch or something. And he probably was feeling he was probably feeling a little jittery, from not having his normal amount of booze. And then I'm sure as soon as he was finished with the speech, he ran backstage and probably guzzled, just took the bottle and just started guzzling it. That's my my guess. That was a total guess. I have no idea. I don't have facts to back that up. DPD 5844 says South Carolina introduced Bill 3537 that will place women in jail for life if they lose their fetus. Where's that damn fetus? It was just here a minute ago. Anyhow, this includes horseback riding, air travel, weightlifting, and walking. It's called Prenatal to Life. What the fuck? What the fuck, South Carolina? Are you just trying to make it very clear to everyone how fucking back-asswards you are as a state government? Come on, Aaron, are you in South Carolina? You and Damon Dog? Come on, you guys, you need to whip that state into shape, man. James Jaramillo says, Josh, same here, and yes, the shit sounds like another way to violate the emoluments clause. That lousy motherfucker. And I think we're talking about Trump. I think. Who else would it be? Who the hell else would it be? But I like that. I think calling Trump a lousy motherfucker, it pretty well sums up. It's so succinct, and it's really a perfect little title for Trump. Lousy motherfucker. Hey, we got Elisa. I'm sorry, I always mess up your name. Elisabeth. I think it's Elisabeth. Thank you, Elisabeth Martinez. Hopefully I corrected it and got it right. Elisabeth. If not, you can remind me with trying to sound it out or whatever. But anyhow, Elisabeth, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you, even though I might be butchering your name, and I apologize. Elisabeth says, Buenos dias, Juan. Good morning, John. Oh, I guess that was the translation. It was good morning, John. Buenos dias. Well, buenos dias back at you. I don't know how you say back at you in Spanish. But, maybe, repito. I don't know. To repito. No, I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person. Damon Dog says, don't you hate it when you're sitting in the dentist chair and have to fart? I held it till I got out to the hallway. Needless to say, the VA in Salisbury has been properly crop dusted. Damon Dog coming in with the TMI. No, it's funny. That's thank you for sharing, Damon. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Just think of the dentist has to fart or something. I'm just skipping through all the pot growing talk. No, I just I have no problem with you guys doing that. It's just I can't relate, so it's hard for me to get into it. I hope you guys have good crops this year, and you cut it and shake it and whatever you do to it. Hey, we got Bastello Maserati is here. I've never seen that person here before, I don't believe. Bastello Maserati says, are you on shortwave, Johnny? Do you mean like on a CB? Talking about a CB radio or something like that? I am not. Although I did find my CB the other day. It's in I was looking through my boxes. I do have the CB radio, but it ain't hooked up to nothing. Hey, Michael McAndrews is here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in the old driver's lounge. We're just chilling, and we're not grilling. Well, I don't know if anyone's grilling, but we are chilling. We're just chilling, talking about crop dusting, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. Nick Rich says, I'm subscribed to tons of people, but can't catch everyone that has a live stream. Hal, Boston Brian, Trucker John, Liberal Dan, and others. I miss a lot other things in life besides YouTube. Except I take exception. You should always make time for Trucker John. I don't care what's going on. I'm only kidding. Karen Ames is here. Hey, Karen. My fellow high desert dweller. I guess Las Vegas is probably the high desert. Our elevation is about the same as Victorville, probably. And we are in the Mojave Desert, same as Victorville. So I guess I could still say I'm a high desert. We're fellow high desert dwellers. And I grew up in the area that Karen Ames lives in now. I at the ripe old age of 3, I packed my bags and said, I'm moving to Apple Valley. Of course, my parents came with me. And I lived in that Apple Valley and Victorville, otherwise known as the Victor Valley, for all the way until I was about 28, I guess. And then I moved to the San Fernando Valley for about a year. And then from there, I moved back out to Lancaster. And I lived about another 30 years out in the Antelope Valley. And then about almost 6 years ago, I moved here to Vegas. So that's my history. There's Karen Ames. Karen Ames says, good morning, Trucker John. Well, good morning right back at you there, Karen. Hope things are good in Victorville. Good old Victorville. Bastello Maserati says, is this chat like a greetings only type? No, I mean, it is me reading the chats, but sometimes I'll go off on a tangent. If I see something or if I think of something, I'll go off and I'll talk about something and then I'll go back to the chat and then, we sort of interact. I think it's a little more interactive type of a thing. It's not just greetings, Yeah, hang out and find out. Hang out and find out. That I didn't mean that to sound, confrontational. I meant that as, sincerely. Just hang out and check it out, man. Good to see you. I hope you'll I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing and sharing the show and all that good stuff. Michael McAndrews in this chat. John reads our chats. Stephanie B2 says, I asked my MAGA cousin to pick up my acetaminophen. I feel like Trump there for a minute. What's this word? Did you mean Tylenol? No. Couldn't you just say Tylenol? No, anyhow, I asked my cousin to pick up my acetaminophen, and Spiriva. When she comes, she said she would pick one of them up. I hope she's joking about the acetaminophen. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because she's MAGA. And she might be all like, no, none of that for you. You might give someone autism. Or something, I don't know. Buster Maserati, I see. So he doesn't have a CB. He doesn't. No, he does not. Although I just told you, although I know this, I'm 20 minutes behind, but I did find it in my box. AM says the last shutdown lasted over 30 days. It was in 2018. Guess who was in office? 2018. 2018. I believe I seem to recall it was sort of an orange-looking fella with a big comb over. What was the name? The name. Oh, the name. I think it was something like von Schützenpants or something like that. Yeah, that's who it was. It was like Colonel von Schützenpants. That was the guy. Mr. Spock says Trump RX corruption everywhere. It's impossible to track and right out in the open. Kinky Street says, Harry, Kinky, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Kinky Street says, no one ever said the USA needs a green fleet ever. Yeah, they had a program where they were, trying out some electric Humvees or something like that, and it was a good thing to try out and to to develop, because sometimes you might be in areas where it's really hard to bus in or truck in gas, or But yeah, it wasn't like they were saying, okay, we're going to turn the whole fleet over to EVs or whatever. I mean, that's just the total typical though right wing, like oversimplification and a really disingenuous, take on what was happening. But Bustelo Maserati says a trucker without a CB is like a cowboy without a horse. Yeah, well, I haven't driven since 2023. I'm sort of retired from truck driving, although I do still have a valid CDL and I have all my endorsements, and my medical card is up to date. It's all up to date, so I'm good to go. But I just don't want to go. Jolie says John reads our chats, and we all chat about our thoughts on the topic. Too at Bustelo Maserati. Kiki Street says, hi, Jolie. I'm starting from the beginning at 50% speed. How's that knee going? I hope your knee is doing okay. Kiki Street just had a knee replacement and might be in need of some acetaminophen. David Dog says, Bustelo Maserati, imagine a truck stop with tables and chairs. Pull up a chair, say hi to all the people, and talk about whatever. Welcome to the lounge. That's a good description. Yeah, it's a trucker's lounge. Have you ever been to a truck stop? And then I'll tell you, there's no shortage of truck drivers that if you pull up and you're in the driver's lounge or if you're in the diner at the counter, there's no shortage of a truck driver that's willing to share his opinion with you. Bustelo Maserati says retired. Like when we get time to have cocktails and barbecues. Yep, that's my life now. Cocktails and barbecues. Nick Rich says, stick around for the trucker stuff. Just bring it up in the chat. Fresh out of the shower. Another new name. Thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate you. Says $300 at the Wally World. This is getting insane. $300. Is Wally World Disneyland? I feel so stupid. All right, for Walt Disney, is that Wally World? Is Disneyland? And I know, like, isn't that the name they had for vacation or whatever? But so $300. Is that for the ticket? I haven't gone. I did take my kids and everybody about 3 or 4 years ago to Disneyland, and I remember at the time I was truck driving. I had a little bit of extra money, so I just treated everybody, and I think we bought passes, park passes and stuff. I don't remember what it cost. I don't even remember what it cost. It was a lot though. It wasn't cheap. Bustle Maserati says, you just won my like. Number 30. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the like. I do appreciate you. We are still operating a bit Republican-y with a deficit on those thumbs up. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, make sure you do. If you would, I would appreciate it. But thank you, Bustelo. I appreciate you. Kiki Street says, you know the base. I was Kiki Street before I was VD, laughing out loud. The VD's gone away. The VD is cleared up. It's gone away. John Glad's here. I'm always glad to see John Glad. Thanks for coming on in, John. John Glad better sign in. Yeah, the only sign in process is hitting the like button and sharing and subscribing. You know, if you would like to. Fresh out of the shower says, I did get a new toilet seat, though, and cat food. Maybe Wally World isn't Disneyland. Maybe it's just a big store. Oh, Walmart. What the fuck? I feel so stupid. I feel really stupid. It's Walmart. Wally World is Walmart. Sam Walton. Look, folks, I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, all right? I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes. You know, bear with me. Bear with me. Williams says in Trump's speech in Quantico, he looked and sounded like walking death. He is getting more like that, more and more and more, where he's just kind of mumbling. He's kind of slumped over and he's mumbling, and he's just really, I mean, I thought he was getting bad during the campaign last year. He's even worse, and he's just getting worse and worse by the minute. But hey, it is what it is. And it's apparently okay because he's a Republican, so he can be as old and cognitively well, that's what I get for trying to say big words. He can be as full of dementia as he wants, as he can be, and it's fine. But if Joe Biden, who's had a lifelong stuttering problem, maybe stumbles over a word, then God, it's like time to, 25th Amendment his ass. I just get so sick and tired of the double standards. I get so sick and tired of it. Nick Rich 1002. Well, I'm still 22 minutes behind. Guys, I don't know what's going on. I did not take anything that Bustle already said. I did not take it as being hostile but maybe I'm simple. Maybe like I said, maybe I'm just slow on the uptake, but I did not take anything that Bustle Maserati said as being hostile or anything like that. Just so you know. Just so you know how I feel, I guess. Fresh out of shower. What's the purple thing? Are you talking about that top fan thing? Apparently, you're number one. Fresh out of the shower. It's a thing that YouTube's been doing, where I guess it ranks the people in the chat on I guess how many times they post stuff and stuff. I guess they thought it would make it more engaging for the chatters. So now they do this rating thing or ranking thing, not rating, but a ranking. And I guess you get points for every time you chat or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but But fresh out of the shower is number one, according to my thing that I see here. Victor Harshman's here. Hey, Victor, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Not sure if I've seen you before, so welcome to the Driver's Lounge. I hope you'll stick around and give us a like and a subscribe and all that good stuff. Victor Harshman says people in Bend, Oregon, reporting large numbers of military equipment on trains heading north towards Portland or Seattle. So look out, probably Portland, right? Mad Max says, gee, what a great time for enemies to do something to the USA. All the generals in the same place at the same time. And at the government shutdown. How fucking brilliant is that? I know, and I couldn't help but be reminded of, wasn't it in Game of Thrones where they had this big, feast, big party, where all the people from all the kingdoms, all the like kings and shit, were all kings and queens or whatever, and royalty, they were all in the same room, and then they all got fucking murdered. It just kind of reminded me of that. I'm not saying they're going to murder all the generals, but that that imagery came to mind. Michael McAndrews, we saw John eat a dandelion live. Yeah, that did happen. Mr. Spock says vodka is choice of alcoholics. I guess that's in reference to earlier. I was talking about Hegseth. Bacillus says go Dodgers go. I got my Dodgers shirt on. I don't know if you can see it. Go Dodgers. Got the cap. Dodgers play today. First game of the wild card series against the Reds. So we got that going on. Guess I can lean back in the chair. Hopefully we'll win. I'm hoping I'm rooting for the Dodgers. It's okay if you don't. You can root for the Reds, but I'm rooting for the Dodgers. Jim Bay says, Victor Harshman, thank goodness. From what I understand, Portland is under siege. Reports are that it now takes a full 5 minutes to get a toasted bagel and quad mocha in Portland. Antifa equal barista. Mike Mayberry says, hi, Jolie. Good to see you. Hey, Mike Mayberry. Good to see you. Thanks for popping into the old Driver's Lounge. The chat is moving kind of fast, and I did miss some of the earlier postings there. I saw Mike come in, and then the post went away, so I couldn't read it. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. Nice to see we got new faces in the crowd here. Make sure you guys, if you would consider subscribing. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime, and it helps the show to grow, and the like button helps too. Muscle Maserati says, I've achieved Kolinar, so who is the real Spock? Fresh out of the shower says, Kat Azerbaijan, is that her name? Victor Archman says, MTN is reporting the boat that our military blew up in Venezuela had a fisherman with something, and now I'm trying to stop it, but I can't stop the chat, and it disappeared. Sorry about that. David Don, I think David Don was saying he was in North Carolina or something. I don't know. DPD 5844, The Handmaid's Tale in real time. Yeah, we got a lot of that Handmaid's Tale shit going on for sure. I think the first Trump administration was Handmaid's Tale. I think the second Trump administration is like Game of Thrones or something. It's just weird, just wanting to take over everything. Buffalo Maserati says, "Oh yeah, I forgot. We are retired, so no intellectual stuff." I don't mind if you guys get intellectual. I just might not be a part of the conversation because I'm like, because I'm dumb. But hey, do what you got to do. I mean, fresh out shower is out. Okay, well, I hope you come back. I don't know. Was it something I said? Was it something I didn't say? But Mike, maybe there should just be one time of the day where everybody see I can't stop the chat. It won't. It's not stopping. Well, that's hard to. Maybe I can't. I could have maybe. I could have grabbed it, but when I did it, it wasn't letting me grab it. Victor Harshman says I picked a bad year. I picked a bad year to do sober October with my wife. Yeah, you might want to maybe rethink that. I don't know. Here, let me fix this back. I don't like how it's so pointed downward. Anyhow, I don't know. Maybe it is better the other way though. I don't know. Busto Maserati says, by the way, the Chargers lost. Yeah, they did. Busto Maserati. Oh yeah, I forgot. Y'all don't like football in here. I love football. I talk about football, but a lot of the people in here don't like it. But some do. Some of us do. I got into a new fantasy football league with my son. My son started this team or this league, and so we've been doing that the last couple of Sundays, and that's kind of fun. Where basically it's just a 4-team league. I mean, a 4-team league, yeah, and that my son put together real quick, kind of spur of the moment thing. So it's my son. Here's who is in the league. It's my son, my new son-in-law, and then my son's one of his best friends that we've known this kid since kindergarten. And I love the kid. I love that guy. So it's my son-in-law, and this kid that's been, like I said, my son's best friend since kindergarten, and then me. And so we do the on Sundays. We have this group chat thing where we're just in there chatting and talking about the games and talking about our the scores and stuff. So it's been fun. It's been a fun thing, just a little thing to we're not. It's not like actually being at my son's house and actually being with him. It's kind of like this, I guess, the next best thing or something. So we're all chatting and talking about the fantasy league and art and everything. So it's cool. I've been having fun doing that. And this week coming up for the first time, because this is only week 3, it's going to be me and my son going head to head against each other in our fantasy league. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Karen Ames, still dwelling in the high desert. We are desert rats, absolutely. I know we've been saying that since I can remember. The rest of our family who lived elsewhere would call us, the desert rats. Here come the desert rats. There's Jolie with a reminder. If you sub to P-Dubs, there's the link. You can go sub to P-Dubs. Josh, I don't think I like deserts very much. I mean, if I had my druthers, in other words, if I had the money, I would live elsewhere. I would live either in the mountains or on the beach. But deserts are pretty affordable because no one likes them. So overall, they're much more affordable than the mountains or the beach. It's either that, or we could all move to fucking Wyoming, like I was talking about in I was at Liberal Dance chat last night. There's Marsha. Hello, Marsha. Good to see you. And there's WW. WW's here, and Marsha's here. Good to see. It's good to see Marsha. Not so much. It's good to see WW because he's an asshole. David Dog says Bessel has never been there, and my poison flips back and forth between indica and sativa. Bessel Maserati says I thought Fields was a new start, and that Soto Yeah, the chat's moving. Chat's moving pretty good. So for some reason, I'm missing a lot of it. I guess I need to just move it up a little bit. WW, I have a whole bottle of expired Tylenol. Do you think it is any good? Just go buy a new bottle. Throw that shit in the trash and go buy a new bottle. I mean, I know you can afford it. Why even chance it? Just get a new fucking bottle. Sandy Folks with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Sandy. Yippee. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. There's your thumbs ups and there's your heart. Thank you, Sandy, for helping support the show. It's always nice to get a little something in there and put that towards the show. So thank you, Sandy. Appreciate you. The Socraft, Trump taking credit for Biden lowering insulin prices again. Yeah, that's the Trump MO. He took credit for shit Biden did, and he took credit for shit that Obama did. You know, there really is nothing that he says that you could believe. You know. I know that I know I'm not supposed to address things that have been hidden, but I guess I shouldn't address it. Because I'm not supposed to do it. Yeah, we've had that troll in here before. He's come in before. I remember it. I remember that one. I remember old Captain Trips. Really vile. Really a vile. Probably a really pathetic person. Probably a troll. I mean, probably some sort of a paid troll or something. Probably lives a very pathetic, lonely life. So, whatever. Richard, LA Dodgers cap, Sandy Koufax on drives though. Well, now it's Clayton Kershaw just, he announced his retirement. He just pitched his final game as a Dodger in the regular season. He's not on the roster for this wild card series. Hopefully, if they win this best 2 out of 3, I'm hoping that they'll put him back on the roster for the longer series. I think Dave Roberts has taken a chance by not putting him on this roster for this because what if they lose? Then that's it. There's no more Clayton Kershaw. But I would like to see Clayton come out and pitch again in the postseason. So hopefully the Dodgers will get past the Reds and move on, and then they'll because I think with each series they can put on. I think they can still put Kershaw back in. I guess I should have maybe looked that up before I said anything. Karen Ames says, my husband is a retired trucker. His truck accident in 2010 disabled and retired him. He still has CBs. Oh, see, the thing that disappeared. But he still has CBs, yeah. In a box or something. Suzanne Forsepi is here. Hey, Suzanne, good to see you. Like number 38. Yeah, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We are at 53. We are acting like good Democrats now. Trolls be damned. We are operating like good Democrats with a surplus thumbs up. So I appreciate that. Nick Rich says break 19, 20 past the hour. So I'm 20 minutes behind. As is my norm. I'm usually 20 minutes behind, usually. Damon Dog, Wally World is Walmart. Yeah, I finally figured it out, Damon Dog. If I finally figured it out. Like I said, I'm a little slow on the uptake. I'm a special person. I have my special needs. Richard, National Lampoon. Yeah, that was vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation, I guess. Buffalo Maserati says ABC supports the Khazar army. Big surprise. I don't know anything about that. I have no idea what any of that means. Robert Perez from down San Diego. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. And Robert says, top of the morning, Trucker John, and lovely day to all you that love democracy. I hope things are going well for you down there in San Diego. Hope the grandkids aren't running you too ragged. Buffalo Maserati says, Karen, I used to buck bales on a flatbed in Castaic. Oh, I know where Castaic is. Very familiar with Castaic. Castaic Lake and all that. It's just right up the road from where I used to work at the post office, right there in Santa Clarita, at the processing center. Hey, there's Christina and Son Ghost Squad. Says, hi, everyone. Super busy today at doctor's appointment, but listening and supporting. Thank you, Christina. Thanks for popping in. Hope everything goes well at the doctor's appointment. Damon Dog says, I saw that light bulb come on over John's head. Yeah, it literally, well, maybe not literally, but, you know, it's like, bing. So you spent $300. Going back to that, okay, so the thing was that person, I don't even remember who it was now who said it, spent $300 at Walmart. But yeah, that's, unfortunately, our shopping is going up. And Trump ran on lowering prices. And they've done nothing but go up since he became president, since he got sworn in. Roxanne79 says, howdy, everyone. I'm listening and lurking, my friends. I appreciate you all. Suzanne Forsepi says, please, everyone, we need to stick together, especially now. Do not fight with each other, please. Fight like a big bag of rats. Oh. We're just gonna fight like a big bag of rats. Big bag of rats. Bustle Maserati says Curtis Sliwa is at 18%. Yeah, I think Zoran Mandani will win, and I hope he does win, and I hope he does a really good job as mayor. I wish him all the best. You know, New York City's the biggest city in America. It's a big apple. It's not like it's some little podunk town, so it's a big responsibility. We'll see if he's up to it. Bastello Mazzarelli says Cuomo jumped up to 30%. Uh-oh. Now, why would you want that motherfucker? He's already been known to just be a dirt bag. I don't know why anyone would want Cuomo in there. It's like, just like I didn't think anyone would want Trump again either, actually. But. So get out there and vote, people. Just got to get out there and vote. Yeah, Nick Rich Lee was the guardian angel nut job. Total right-wing nut job. Russell Maserati says Long Island wants Mandani. Hey, look, I have no problem with him. You know, I have no problem with him. I wish more Democrats in leadership would start backing him. Victor Harshman says, after watching them bash Biden for 4 years, watching Trump's decline is priceless. Karma's a bitch. Yeah, but the thing is, they're not. No one. I don't hear anyone in the media like saying, "Oh my God, look at the, look how bad he looks." The Soulcraft says, "W, I've been looking around into breath work. It's helpful, of course. I do Tai Chi and Merkaba meditation as I stare in the direction of the sun every a.m. upon waking." WW says there's a hypocrisy all around the human race. Very easy to use it in a political way. Yeah. And we are here to break through the hypocrisy. Robert Perez says at 10:30, the mother leaves to work and I'm all alone with the terrible 2-year-old. Phase is going through. I'm pre-stoned and ready to watch TJ and play with and change his shitty diapers for now. Laughing out loud. Well, you're a good grandpa. Hang in there, Robert. Hang in there. DPD 5844 says, I am loving my early retirement. Thank you, P&G. I will never understand people who dislike retirement. There are multiple things one can do. I do not miss my place of employment at all. Sayonara, suckers. Yeah, enjoy your retirement, man. Just enjoy it. You earned it. You earned it. Now enjoy it. Enjoy it. Ada Benitez is here. Hey, Ada, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Ada says, hello, everybody. I have just woke up. Sorry if I am quiet. Damn sciatica pain. Sciatica is the worst. It's the worst. I'm just trying to think what you can do. There's really not much you can do to try to, I don't know. Karen Ames says, I just finished my big cup of coffee. Now I'm drinking water. Yeah, I'm going to have to switch to water. I think my coffee's almost done. A little bit left. There's a little bit left in my cup. Booster Maserati sciatica, is that like the gout? No, it's like a sharp pain that kind of runs down your lower back and down the back of one of your legs, as I recall. And it kind of doesn't go away until it just goes away. All you can do is just try to kill the pain with something. WW says Trump is trying to ramp up for a domestic assault. The generals will not go along. At this point, I'm almost in favor of a fucking military coup. As long as the military isn't, like bastards. I'm almost thinking a military coup would be better than having Trump. Does that make sense? Am I crazy for saying that? As long as they said, hey, look, we know that this guy is a fucking dictator and we're going to take over the government and we are going to have another election or something. I don't know. As long as they don't just like stay in power and then, forever, and then we got to fight them. But still, it still might be better than having Trump. James Jaramillo says, Trucker John, I took that cowboy without a horse comment as an insult with you. Oh. Well, you know what? I don't think I even saw that. I think I missed that one. Sometimes I miss them. But anyhow, cowboy without a horse, Oh, maybe I did read it. Maybe I read that one out loud. But yeah, I didn't. Oh yeah, because he said it's like a cowboy. Yeah, I did read that, but I didn't take that as being an an insult. But thank you for, I guess, sticking up for me. I appreciate that. You guys having my back. But I don't think I don't know. I don't think it was meant to be like too bad of a thing. WW says Trump wants to get rid of 20% of the generals or replace them with his own promotions. Yeah, he wants his sycophantic generals in there. So that when he says, "Can't you just shoot him in the legs? Just shoot him in the legs." They'll go, "Okay, we'll shoot him in the legs." Now that doesn't mean that you're not going to kill anybody, because you could be shooting people in the legs and you're going to hit main arteries, and the femoral artery is the biggest artery in the body. So he thinks that if you just shoot him in the legs, because in the movies, whenever you just shoot someone in the leg, it's just they're fine. They live. But yeah, so Trump is going to get a lot of people killed if he has his way. Tiki Street says 9 minutes behind. Am I 9 minutes now, or am I 20 minutes? I don't know. Or maybe Kiki's 9 minutes behind because he was watching it plus 50% or something like that. Tiki Street says, nope, don't take Tylenol. I like my liver. Well, I think if you take, like, I can't even remember the last time I took a Tylenol. But if you take it, I mean, if you have chronic pain and you need something all the time, then maybe Tylenol isn't good for you because it might be bad for your liver. But if you, like for me, like I said, I can't even remember the last time I've taken anything. I mean, I think I took some, was it ibuprofen or something? And that was probably 9 months ago or something. I think I was having a little back pain flare up and I took an ibuprofen or something. I'm lucky and fortunate, and knock on wood, I don't have a lot of pain issues and stuff. So if you need to take a Tylenol, or every now and then, or I think you're okay. But yeah, if it's something that you need pain management for a long period of time, then you might want to find something besides Tylenol, I guess. I'm not a doctor. Don't take anything that I say seriously. I'm not offering medical advice. Just a little disclaimer. Robert Perez, in Northern California near the border with Nevada, there is a huge military vehicle storage base, so they're probably heading there. Was that in reference to the person earlier who talked about Bend, Oregon is way up past that. It's in the middle of Oregon, but there is an Army depot up in I think that's the Nevada side, up by Susanville. But Susanville, oh wait, is Susanville California? So maybe this is the California side. Maybe that Army Depot is California side, that I'm thinking of. Right off 395. I forget where the state line is on. Anyhow, it's around there somewhere. It's yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't know, Robert. Karen Ames says, "Go Dodgers!" Here, I'm normally an Angels fan. Well, the Angels are my favorite American League team. Just so you know. Always have been. I think always will be. Stephanie B2 says, when taken as directed, Tylenol is extremely safe, even for people with liver disease. So there. Take that. Hello, Ada. Let's see, is there saying hello? Bustalo Maserati says Dodgers rock. Their pitcher also bats. That's Shohei. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani. Probably the greatest player in baseball history. I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Mike Mayberry. All I said was congratulations on reaching 4K. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I don't know. I must have missed it, or I think the chat went away. But thank you so much for that. Nick Rich 10:30. I'm 26 minutes behind. Just so you know, I'm reading chats that you guys posted about 26 minutes ago. Just so if you wonder, if you're wondering, what the hell is he talking about? See, there goes Jen. Whenever someone says they're a fan of some other team, then Jen has to talk his shit. Just let Karen be an Angels fan. She has a right to be an Angels fan. We don't need your fucking using that as an excuse to talk about the Giants. Fuck the Giants. You could be a Giants fan, but you don't need to go in and shit on somebody else just because they're not a Giants fan. Karen names Otani, I think it's spelled. Yeah, he definitely came. He came from the Angels. Yep. And Dodgers got him in free agency. Buffalo Marzarati says 10:30 in Lake Tahoe. I'm 27 minutes behind now. Buffalo says Lake Tahoe. Well, I don't know. You're the one that said it. So Damon Dunk says Stephen Colbert had me laughing my ass off about Portland terrorists. We're a bunch of white women. We're a bunch of white women, I think, with dreadlocks named Raindrop. Too fucking funny. It'll be funny until he actually sends troops in and they start fucking shit up. Nick Rich says, I know TJ hates it, but 30-minute lobsters. Now we're down to 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't. Nothing against Boston Brian. I have the man's T-shirt for crying out loud, but I don't think we need to promote, or like people leaving my show to go to another show. If you want to go watch another show, that's fine. It's a free country, or whatever. You can go watch whatever you want, but we don't. I don't think we need to really promote that another show's on. So let's all leave now. Let's all leave Trucker John now because we're going to go over here. I don't really like that. I'll promote shows. I promote shows all the time. I promote Boston Brian. I promote Liberal Dan. I promote P Dubs. I promote Hal Sparks. And other shows all the time. The Tara Devlin show and the two Tara shows. I'm 21st Century Suffragettes. I promote those shows all the time. But I'm not going to, as I'm doing my show, going to tell everyone, hey, leave my show and go to this other show. Unless I'm ending the show. And I'm not ending the show yet. I've still got at least another half hour to go. So I kind of don't appreciate that, Nick Rich. I don't appreciate that. Mad Max says Jammy Dodgers are biscuits, cookies with jam in the middle. A Jammy Dodger in LA is something way different. I guess we got some games going. John Glad has Detroit leading Cleveland 1-0. I could change the TV over to but I don't have my other remote, and it's way over there. I was thinking I could put the game on. Mike Mayberry says we're Cubs and Yankees family, but Dodgers will be my second choice. Cubs are playing the Padres, so I'm going to say go Cubbies because I don't like the Padres. And, the Yankees or the Yankees. It'd be interesting if the Dodgers and Yankees both make it to the World Series again for a rematch. And I would imagine that the Yankees would be chomping at the bit to kind of prove themselves to not be, really how horrible they were in the last year's World Series. How they just blew it in that game. Was it Game 5? And when they had a lead and they gave it up. And they were dropping balls all over the place and all these errors and stuff. So I'm sure they would love to. Of course, everyone wants to make it to the World Series, but I'm sure they would love to face the Dodgers again, just so they could say, just show the world that they're not that bad or whatever. But we'll see. Ada Benita says, "Who's enjoying an intellectual conversation? I cannot think right now. Too many pain meds." Ada, I hope you can get well soon, get better soon, though. Busto Martinez, ever been to Palm Springs? Yeah, I did live down there for a little while when I was going to school at College of the Desert. I lived in Palm Desert, which is just south of Palm Springs, a few miles. And so I spent some time there back in the early 80s. Tiki Street, Truckee is in California. Yeah, Truckee is just north of Tahoe. It's on the I-80, basically right off of I-80 by Donner Pass. So it would be just west of Reno, when you cross the state line from Nevada into California. And it's just not too far up the 80 there. I've been through Truckee. Cute little town. It's a cute little town up there in the mountains. I think I got snowed in Truckee one time in my truck. I parked for the night during a storm, and then during the night, the snow plows plowed the streets. There's some early morning, and they buried my truck. Every vehicle that was parked on the side of the road just got buried, and I got buried. And it just so happens there was this nice little pancake restaurant or a breakfast place that had good pancakes. I couldn't get out, I didn't have a snow shovel or anything like that. And even if I did, I don't know if I could even bury or dig myself out. So I was like, I'm going to go to that restaurant there, and I'm going to have me some pancakes, and that's what I did. And then I just called dispatch and said, I think I'm going to be stuck here a while. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get dug out or whatever. It took a while, as I recall, to get out of there. But anyhow, moving on down. In the chat, trying to get caught up a little bit. I don't know who you guys are talking about, living in Tahoe or Russia. I did skip some chats, so I don't know. I am kind of skipping down and needle dropping a little bit. The Soulcraft says, we were called river rats from living on the Tennessee River, great playground. Kiki Street's blocked someone. I did skip a lot of the chat, so I don't know what was going on. Who's blocking whom? But that's up to you guys, I guess, who you want to block and stuff. Josh says, I just got to be near water. Mr. Spock, hybrids are good. I think hybrids are good. I like hybrids. Kimchi's here. The kimchi. The goddess. I was going to say the kimchi goddess. The goddess Kimchi. We are graced with your presence. Thank you, Kimchi. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate you. Kimchi says, hi, beautiful people. Listening while lying down. Love to all. Bustle Marazarati says, Josh, try Lake Tahoe. It is lovely. It is a lovely place. Lake Tahoe is a pretty beautiful place. Ada Benitez says, I live in the mountains with lots of snow. I can't stand the heat. Yeah, I would like to move to the mountains. I might try that sometime. At some time. I've lived in the mountains before, actually, when I was a little kid. We lived in Big Bear for a year when I was a kid. And I really liked it. I wish my parents would have stopped moving. My parents were always moving. And it really pissed me off. Out of all the places we moved, I wish we would have stayed in Big Bear. Lynn Sears has got my chicken simmering in the pot for some soothing soup. Smells so good. Oh, now you're going to make me hungry, Lynn. Ada Benitez, I'm sorry. Ada Benitez says the orange knucklehead thinks he has saved the world and Americans invented everything. Hey, Ginger's mom is here. Hey, Ginger's mom, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Haven't seen you in a while. I do appreciate you coming by. I do appreciate you. Bustelo Maserati, Ada, you can't say that about John Boehner. Were we talking about John Boehner? Or Boner, however he wants to call it? King String says, I would go down to Carson City to shop from Tahoe, fill the tank too. Yeah, it's not too bad of a drive, I guess. From you could take that one highway, not not the interstate, but there's the highway that goes straight down. I forget the number of the highway. The Soul Crest says, I like Tyler Glasnow. He's good. He's like 6'8". The dude's so tall, and he's pitching really well. I think they're going to use him out of the bullpen for this series. I'm kind of skipping down. 007 Kevin Trollslayer is here. He says release them. So I must be a thread about something. Or maybe it's either Epstein files or the hostages in Gaza. I think maybe it's the Epstein files he was talking about. Boy, looks like we might be getting cloudy outside. Kiki Streets is catching up. That's, I guess, less than 3 minutes behind. Invisible River says, I'm not a dim. I'm I guess, Republican, but I'm not MAGA maggot. I'm not MAGA maggot. Okay. I'm glad you're not a MAGA. That's good. It kind of saddens me to think that, like, you're against, if you're a Republican, you're against the woman's choice, to choose, make her own reproductive choices. I think that kind of sucks. I guess you're against, like, Medicare for all or healthcare, like a universal healthcare. I think that sucks that you're against that. What else do I think it sucks? I think it sucks that you think that millionaires and billionaires should pay no taxes, while the rest of us get taxed pretty heavily. I think that sucks. I suck. I suck. I think it sucks that your party. I'll just say your party, not you. That your party is in favor of just sticking with fossil fuels and not trying to go on to a more 21st century way of getting energy with green renewables. There's a whole list of things that I'm disappointed in the Republican Party about, let alone the whole MAGA thing. Soulcraft says, waiting for NLCS before I buy a new hat. Kipsy says, just my neck, I'll be fine. Feels like a stampede of elephants trampling my grave. No biggie. Yeah, no biggie. Well, Kimchi, I hope you get better soon, and I don't know, maybe get the old sativa going, or the other one, whatever it's called. Karen Ames says my parents were both hay haulers. I never was a hay hauler like on a flatbed, but I remember when I was just doing a dry van. I remember a couple times where they loaded hay into my old dry van a couple times, but that was random. I was not like a hay hauler. But let's see who else we got here. I'm skipping down in the chat here. Marshall Jones, they'll break the internet if he wins like they did when Obama wore a tan suit. Was that talking about Zoran Mandani? Mandani? See, when I skip down, I do miss a lot of the, I'm mid-thread and I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Josh says, keep in mind that the mayor is a figurehead and the staff does most of the work. Well, you could say that about anything. I remember for years and years and years, people would say that the president of the United States is just a figurehead. But we do see how it does make a difference of who is in the White House. And now we see Donald Trump just really stripping away all of this separate branches of government, where he wants to control everything, and to large part he is. So it makes a difference in who that figurehead is. It does shape, if that mayor, in this case mayor we're talking about, or whether it's a president or whether it's a governor, their policies, positions, and ideology is going to influence the staff or even the legislature. So it's just, I think just calling it a figurehead is kind of misleading, and it doesn't really it makes it sound like the mayor, or in some cases, like I said, people will say that about governors or especially president. I don't know if I've ever heard it for governor, but I have heard people say that about president a lot. But they're just a figurehead, and I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Their influence is important, and it shapes what the government's going to be like, and what direction we're going to go in terms of getting legislature coming through, especially if they have their party being in the majority. So I don't think figurehead. Now for New York, New York mayor, I don't know, but I do understand that the mayor, still has to go through a they probably have some places call them supervisors, or they have these other entities that are in the government. So whatever proposals or ideas that Mandani is going to have, it has to go through that. He can't just wiggle his nose or wiggle his finger and it's done. There is no magic wand anywhere. Although it seems like it now with Trump in office. Like, it seems like, the Republican-led Congress has completely capitulated to him. And he pretty much has the SCOTUS wrapped up. So, you know. WW says womanizing is a forgivable sin, has been for years. All the presidents had mistresses, they say. I don't know if I'm just totally myth spread or if that comment just came out of left field. I don't know. I don't think all the presidents had mistresses. I don't think Obama had a mistress. I have not heard one allegation or a hint of Obama ever having a mistress. So right off the bat, you're wrong. Ada Benitez says Dinkins was a socialist mayor of New York. Why such an issue with Mamdani? I think because he's a Muslim, number one, and I think because he's a democratic socialist and even centrist, so-called centrist or moderate Democrats or whatever you want to call them, corporate Democrats, they don't like that word, socialist, no matter what it means or how it's used, no matter that it's not socialism. It's not like old Soviet-style socialism or Iron Curtain countries socialism. This is democratic socialism. This is like fucking Scandinavia socialism. This is Norway socialism. This is where all the happiest people in the world live socialism. And there's of course backlash against, I guess, comments that he made about Gaza and Israel and all that shit. That he could, that I don't think we're that all that bad, and I think we're a bit taken out of not out of context, but I think they were sort of misconstrued. Let's put it that way. Nick Rich says the last mayor's race in my hometown has 102 names on the ballot. The mayor won with a sizable chunk of votes. You had 102 people running for fucking mayor? Wait a minute. Did I read that right? 102 names on the ballot? That's crazy. That's kind of crazy. Kiki Street says LaGuardia was a socialist. Dinkins? Not really. Okay, I'm not going to argue about. I mean, that's between you guys. You New Yorkers or people from the East Coast. I'm sure you know about that history way more than I do. But it still doesn't really negate from anything that I just said. I don't believe. John Glad says I miss the people busier when I was employed. Kiki Street says Nixon probably not and Ford too. Yeah, probably. I never heard of Nixon or Ford having any mistresses. Certainly Obama didn't, or at least I've never heard of it. I don't know. Did Reagan have it? I don't think Reagan did. King Streets, what about George W. Bush? I had affairs with while president. I don't know. I didn't hear that. Yeah, Karen Ames says sciatica is caused from a pinched nerve, usually a herniated disc. Yep, that's right. That's right, Karen. You're right. WW, a coup would result in civil war. All right, W. I was just sort of talking off the top of my head. I was thinking of a bloodless coup where the military they're all in agreement, all the military leaders, and they just said, we're taking over. Okay, it's a guy can dream. Not that I want that to happen, but I can dream about the bloodless part. Ada Benitez says trucker John pain that doesn't go away, just like my sciatica. Yeah. It's probably a pinched nerve caused by a herniated disc. Karen Ames says, I've had 6 low back surgeries and 3 fractures in my back. Oof. Dang, Karen. Ada Benitez says, I call my sciatica Trump pain. WW says, the woke generals against the MAGA generals. Kinky. I guess that would be why you're saying it would be a civil war, yeah. Nick Rich says there aren't enough madmen in charge of the troops like MAGA thinks there are. Tiki Street says real time now, so he's caught up. I'm just skipping down a little bit here, so I'm not too far behind. People talking about certain painkillers. Nick Rich says no one but the Secretary of War has taken an oath of loyalty to the bloated bamboozler. No generals or admirals yet. Karen Ames says, I used to go with my dad, and he went everywhere in California, Utah, Arizona to get hay. I've kicked down hay bales as a kid from his loads. I remember, yeah, I picked up hay in Arizona. They have a lot of, or alfalfa. They have a lot of alfalfa, and I guess hay in Arizona. I picked up in California. Where else did I pick up hay from? But I wasn't a hay hauler. Those are like just random things that you got. Space Monkey's here. Hey, Space Monkey, good to see you. Space Monkey says hi, says thank you, TJ, this lucky minute. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you. Ada Benitez says, I have been given what is this word we have? Paracetamol, thiocloside, twice a day for 10 days to reduce sciatica inflammation. I am allowed this time pregabalin. I think part of becoming a doctor, part of your training, is just learning how to say all these words. Pregabalin is not strong enough. It's low dose painkiller. Tiki Streets, I got prescribed painkillers. That's all I need for that new knee. Damon Dog, I switch up between the 3: Tylenol, ibuprofen, and Aleve. Oh yeah, Aleve is what I took for my back, and it works really good for my little back pain. And it's been a while. I think that was like, no, knock on wood, it was like last year, I think. Nick's Rich watching, talking about Willis. Who you talking about, Willis? Who you talking about, Willis? Damon Dog says, I can't take any pain meds stronger than over the counter. Addictive personality thing. Yeah, that's something to be careful about. Yeah, absolutely. Stephanie B2 says, right now, because of my hip replacement, they have me on aspirin, AM and PM, Tylenol, alternating with ibuprofen and buprenorphine. I do feel a little Trumpian. Buprenorphine, whatever. You gotta get a medical degree just so you can say the words, I think. Gentleman says, Truck John, wow, very hostile towards me. Yeah, because you're stupid. Wow, very hostile towards me. Sad. Now you're making me root for the Cincinnati Redlegs. I don't want to, but you're forcing me to. Look, I don't appreciate how you will take every opportunity to shit on someone just because they don't like your fucking Giants. You can like the Giants all you want. All Karen said was that she's a Dodgers, Angels fan, and then you gotta go back to 2002 to shit on her about the fucking World Series. I think it's stupid. I think that's stupid to do that. Just let her like her Angels and not get fucking harassed about it. Jesus Christ. Is that too much to fucking ask? Um, anyhow, moving on. Moving on. Says Kiki Street says last time I was there, I stayed in the Truckee Best Western. It has the biggest hot tub I've ever seen. Nice place. Did they have a restaurant nearby that had very good pancakes? Because that's where I was at. Some really delicious pancakes. That's all I remember. Michael McAndrew says ate a lot of pancakes waiting on the snow to melt. Hey, John. Well, I had a stack of pancakes, I guess. What's that? Three pancakes stacked? I don't remember exactly, but I probably had scrambled eggs and some bacon with it, and copious amounts of coffee. The Soulcraft says, I'm so restless, not used to being a homebody. I still have my drumline job, but that's only 2 hours in the morning, 5 days a week. Maybe play some instruments or something. Space Monkey says, dog, it's lucky minute. YouTube, they took my channel down forever. Wow. Lucky minute, they took your channel down. What the hell did you do? What did you do? What the hell did you do? You must have been bad. You broke the rules or something. Hey, there's Owen. Hey, Owen, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Owen says, just checking in. I have been talking to Trump supporters all day. I'm actually getting him to really understand the truth about our situation. This dude has been full conspiracy Christian national. Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. You're actually able to have a conversation and maybe make a little headway on that. Christina and Son Ghost Squad says, I am sorry because I was busy at the doctor. But don't be sorry, Christina. I mean, we got stuff to do, and going to the doctor is important. But anyhow, Christina says, I'm sorry, I was busy at the doctor, but did we talk about the White House announcing that they want to put Obama in jail last night? We have not talked about that. We have not. And I didn't hear about that. But it's just more ridiculousness coming out of the White House. And this is, I guess I would just, my first thought is this Trump revenge tour. He's doing after Comey. He's gone after other people. And now he's going after Trump, after Biden. And it's ridiculous, and it's without merit. And the only scary thing about it is, how far will the Justice Department capitulate to this fucking madman we have in the White House? Owen says it's not as hard to talk sense and speak about the stuff we all agree on. Yeah, find common ground. That's a good way. Kind of open the door. Let's find our common ground, and then you hit him upside the back of the head with some hard truths or something. I don't know. Just kidding. Yeah. Good tact. There, find the common ground. And right now, I guess our common ground is what? The Epstein files, and probably Epstein files, and I think there's another thing. What else was it? I don't know, but I hear someone talking. Speaking of Zoran Memdani, my TV is playing the I Had It podcast, and they are interviewing or they're talking with him. I really want to grab my remote control and put the games on. Is what I really want to do, but I don't. And then I have to get up and walk over there, get the remote to get it to work. Let's see here. Ada Benitez says, Trucker John, I am a Muslim woman too, and I am no radical nor wear any specific ninja dress. Yeah. But okay, so actually, I think why, because people are saying, why isn't like Jeffries backing him and Democrats backing him? And I think it is more to do, I think, with him being a democratic socialist. But then there is a lot of the AIPAC support that Jeffries gets. So that's that. I guess that's the main reason. So they would rather. I don't think they've come out and supported Cuomo either, though. But they would rather take a chance of Cuomo getting elected than Mamdani, just because he may or may not have said some things that ruffled some feathers of the Jewish community regarding Gaza. That maybe that is bigger than the socialist thing. So, but yeah, I hope he wins though, regardless. Nick Rich, 20 past the hour. Thank you, Nick. Still that you're still here. And I am just at a little over 2 hours in the show. Ada Benitez says George H.W. Bush had 2 mistresses. Look at there. Look at him. Who would have thunk it? Christina and Son Ghost Squad says, I'm from New York. We are very different kinds of people. We are very blue here, and we have such a mix of people that it's hard to ever be racist because we live in the melting pot. I wish that was more like that all across America. I wish that we just would appreciate all the differences, the different backgrounds, the different cultures, and embrace it instead of, so many people especially in the South and rural areas, but it's everywhere. It's in Oregon, it's in Washington, it's in California, it's everywhere that, um, just being afraid of the other or something that's not like them and being so close-minded. It's really sad. It's really sad that there are so many Americans that are so close-minded. But I don't, in terms of like percentages of who's what, like who's racist and who's not racist or whatever. I want to say that, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say it because I just want to say it. I want to say that the majority of Americans aren't racist, aren't bigoted, and are accepting of other cultures and other backgrounds, other colors, not colors. I didn't mean that. I meant other colors, skin, other colors of skin, other religions, ethnicity, all that. That I would sexual orientation, or whatever. I would like to say that the majority of Americans are okay with all that, and it's just a minority of Americans that are the racist and the bigots, and they seem much bigger a group than they are because they are so loud, and they have their spokesperson in the White House. I would like to say that, but I don't know if I can say that because I don't know what the percentage is. I used to always think that the overwhelming majority of us, we have moved past, slavery and Jim Crow and through the 60s and 70s with equal rights and civil rights, that we've come to become a much more diverse country and, for lack of a better term, tolerant. I know that's not the best word probably, but a country that of people that get along and accept everyone and embrace. I think instead of tolerate, maybe embrace is the better word. That we embrace all of these differences in this melting pot. I would like to think that, and I think I used to think that until fucking MAGA came along, and then they all came out, and you could see, oh my God, we are still pretty fucking racist country. We're really fucking racist. And I've told the story before, but I really, really, really saw it really when Obama won election in 2008, and how on the CB radio, talking about CBs there, it got to the point where I had to shut the goddamn thing off because all I heard was that N-word, and they didn't say N-word, they said the whole word with the hard R. We're going to kill that N-word. We're going to hang that N-word. To the point where I was, not only was my blood boiling and I was pissed off hearing it, but I was actually so afraid for President Obama. I was just like, I hope and pray that he has a great security system and, that they're just on high alert because these motherfuckers, they want to kill him from day one, from the get-go, from fucking day one of after the election when he won. All the fucking, because, yeah, there had been a lot of right wingers and some talk, racist talk on the radio, on the CB. Not like that, man. Not like that. On day one, they all came out. They all came out, man. And then I remember a few years later, or I guess, I remember being at a Flying J truck stop in Idaho, up there by Paul Burroughs area, up in is it Lewiston? The Flying J right there on the. Is that I-90? What is that? What goes through there? That little Flying J right off the river there. And I remember I went in there to get something to eat, and it was Martin Luther King birthday holiday, and there was two workers calling it loud enough for everybody to hear that was in day and in the inward day, and they were like making a joke, hey, happy inward day, and all this kind of stuff. And I was in there like getting some food, and I just set everything down. I said, fuck this shit. I'm not going to stand for that. I'm not going to do business here. You have employees talking like that. So this is fucking horse shit. And they just looked at me like, whoa, what? So when Obama was elected, that really brought out a lot of the racists. And then when Trump was elected, it was like that on steroids, you know? It's just crazy. So that changed that. So that made me think maybe I was naive. I've been naive about how we're progressing, and we're not as racist of a nation. But now I don't know what. I mean, I would still like to think that the majority of the people aren't racist and bigoted, but I don't know. I don't know. Are there any good studies or polling that we could look up? Ada Benita says $8 for a bottle of authentic maple syrup from Canada, and a tiny bottle. I'm a bit mid-thread. I think we're talking about inflation, I guess. Christina's son, Ghost Squad says, yeah, they had the blonde lady on saying how Obama did something to mess up his successor or something, which was Donald Trump. I don't know. Some craziness. I couldn't even watch it. It was so ridiculous. Oh, about them wanting to arrest him. Yeah. This isn't who you think it is. Says if the DOJ really wants to get someone, and you have the entire apparatus of government to manifest your goals. John Glad says, when everybody else is every man for himself, it's time to take care of oneself. Hopefully we'll get to that. Luck Dragon says, do you guys realize that the no beard policy in the military it is going to cost us over $6 million a year in raises alone? From what I heard from, I don't know if it was the I've Had It gals or somewhere else. It might have been Stephanie Miller. I don't know. They were saying that that's really just a really racist policy, because the reason they had in effect where they let some people have a beard or a slight beard is because, especially with African American men, the way their hair kind of, I guess, curls or whatever. And I don't mean to sound like a racist after I was talking about all this racist shit, but I guess there's something about how their whiskers are a little bit different, and when they shave, they're just more susceptible to irritation, and and maybe cuts and things like that. And when if you're in the military and you want military readiness, you don't want guys getting their faces cut up and they could get infections. They could get infected. Okay, they don't just do this shit for no fucking reason. The military doesn't just say, okay, you guys can grow a beard because you guys look cool with a beard or whatever. No, it's for a fucking reason. It's about military readiness. It's about keeping the troops ready. They don't want their troops in fucking sick bay or whatever because they got an infection on their face. So they eased up some of the um, shaving requirements for some people who were more susceptible to getting irritations and possibly getting infected or something. That's what that's about. It's not about anything else than that. It's nothing else but that. That's what it's about. And Hegseth, in all his fucking wisdom, wants to say that there's a no beard policy, but without even. Well, I think knowing full well that affects African American enlistees more than anything, and that's just another way of brooming out African Americans out of the military. They're racist. Hegseth and Trump and all those motherfuckers are just out and out motherfucking racist. There's no other way to put it. DPD 5844 says, "Oh yes, they have TJ. Bill Clinton has given full support for slimy Cuomo." Well, that's unfortunate. I don't know about, but I don't know about. I mean, Clinton is not in politics anymore, really. But so a current member who's in Congress, Jeffries and Schumer. I don't know. Have they given full support to Cuomo? I don't know. I don't know. This is not who you think it is. Says Oregon and Northern California are the most prejudiced places I've seen. Yeah, I've gone through there many times as a truck driver in those areas, and I've seen many of the Confederate battle flags flying up there. I've seen it because there's a tendency I think tendency. God, I can't talk today. Well, I can never talk. But to think that like this racism is only in the South, and the old and this love for the Confederacy is only in the South. I've seen people flying the Confederate flag, the stars and bar thing, their battle flag. I've seen that in, like, say, Northern California. I've seen it in Oregon. I've seen it in Washington. I've seen it in Michigan. I've seen it in Pennsylvania. I mean, just about anywhere, like in northern states, western states, midwestern states. I've seen people flying that flag and being proud, loud and proud about the Confederacy. So they're sprinkled all throughout the country. They're basic, and they're basically they're KKK loving, and they're just a hillbilly version of Nazism, as far as I'm concerned. They're just a bunch of Nazis. These KKK Confederate wave flagging motherfuckers are nothing but a bunch of fucking Nazis. Christina and Son Ghost Squad says, you could say, Trucker John, that the maggots are all prejudiced and the other people aren't. Yeah, I don't I don't know if it's that simple, but um, Ada Benitez says xenophobic Americans. Trucker John, I disagree. Americans need more education, more awareness. I'm not sure what I said that you're disagreeing with. When I skipped down in the chats and stuff, I don't remember exactly. Or maybe because I was saying it was the reason they're against Mondani is because of the socialism. And well, I kind of I've been waffling back and forth between the the Muslim aspect and his thoughts on Gaza and the socialism part. It might be just a 50-50 thing there. I don't know. Kinky Street says sounds like a failure of Obama's FCC to do something about it. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. I'm not sure if you're talking about the language on the CB. It was day one. He hadn't even been sworn in yet. So I'm talking about before he was even sworn in. But if I don't even know if that's what you're talking about. So, AM says, I agree, TJ, that the majority of Americans. Now, what are you agreeing with? I said I would like to say. I didn't say I could say. But anyhow, AM says, I agree, TJ, that the majority of Americans are not racist. Otherwise, we would not have been able to elect Obama. Well, I think the only reason Obama won is because of that leaked tape that a waiter made at a speaking event where Mitt Romney was caught on tape saying what did Romney say? You guys can tell me in the chat. I'll scroll down and see it. But you remember what Romney said. It was very offensive to the majority of Americans, to the voting electorate. I really think that's what turned it around, and that's what won it for Obama. But because it's close, it was very, very close. It wasn't like we had a bunch of racially tolerant Americans or whatever. Kicker Street CB radio is on the public airwaves. Yeah, I know CB is they're under FCC control, but that didn't stop them. And Obama. Now again, that stuff was going on after he was sworn in, but I eventually just shut the radio off because I just couldn't listen to it anymore. But they had no qualms about saying that stuff, and I think it's hard. I guess is the way to pinpoint where someone is broadcasting from. I guess you can kind of lock it in on how clear the signal is or whatever, and you can find out. But I don't know. It might be harder than I'm thinking or whatever to actually find what the person who's saying that stuff. Christina and Son Ghost Squad says, I am Greek and Sicilian, so I'm a mutt. As it is, I have to accept everybody, and my kids, my daughter is Greek, Sicilian, and Puerto Rican, and my son is Greek, Sicilian, Irish, and German. We are the melting pot, or we the melting pot. Yeah, and a lot of us are like that. My family and stuff, we always said that we're Heinz 57. We're Heinz 57 because we got so much different things in us, different bloodlines or whatever. This is who. Wait, yeah, this isn't who you think it is. Says CB Radio chat was early precursor to anonymous internet chat. Yeah, there's anonymity there, and people, even though there is a risk of violating FCC rules, they, for the most part, will say whatever the fuck they want, as evidenced by that, because they were just coming right out and saying the N word in regards to Obama, and that they were going to kill him. and hang him. They wanted to hang him, just like and again. Then we see years later, Jan 6, and what they do, they built a gallows, and they wanted to hang Mike Pence, and they wanted to hang Nancy Pelosi. It's the same folks. These are the same folks over and over again, the same type of people. Just really sick, fucking racists. Kiki Street says Tom Wheeler was chairman of FCC during Obama. Allowing the N-word is wrong. Hate speech. I agree. That's wrong. And it is a violation of the FCC. And if they could have found anyone that was doing that, I'm sure they could have and would penalize them. This isn't who you think it is. It says most online racists and bigots aren't even actually racists or bigots. I don't know. I don't know where you get that. I mean, who knows? How do you know? Hey, Stephen Sayers is here. Good to see Stephen. Thanks for coming on in. Stephen Sayers says, anyone else remember, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Probably a kindergarten thing. I remember that. Christina and Sun Ghost Squad says, believe it or not, that in the U.S. there's different levels of racism. 57% of Americans are prejudiced against illegal immigrants, 48% against transgender, 36% against black. Then they have other groups. That is kind of peculiar and interesting. Love Dragon says they would get severe razor burn. Thank you, Joker John. You get it. Michael Ganders, Trumpy fucked our country. And even getting fucked with a little mushroom dick, it's still, if you don't want to be fucked, it's not good. Paul Burrows, TJ, take I-84 from Vegas to Ontario, Oregon, then 95 north to Highway 12 to Lewiston, Idaho, which is very red and very racist. Yeah, I was the Flying J. I think that was Lewiston. It's right by the river. You know how on the other side of the river they got all the paper mills over there, and so then back on the north side of the river, that freeway. I'm off the road for 2 years and I can't remember any freeways. I forget if that was I-90. It might have been I-90. And there's a little Flying J. I think it's right by a CHP. I think the CHP is right there. The way station is just half a mile down the road, I think, or a mile is the way station. And there was a Flying J. And they had a dirt lot across with some truck parking. And it was kind of a small one. I mean, there was a couple fuel pumps on the side for trucks. So that's the one I was talking about. But yeah, so Paul Burrow's backing me up on that. That's a very racist area, and I was like, "Fuck this shit, man! I'm not gonna buy any food here if I got to listen to this racist shit." Kiki Street says, "Never seen a Confederate flag in Vermont, but there are MAGA here with broken washers and dryers on their property and cars without plates." And MAGA is the new KKK in a lot of ways. Luck Dragon, I'm a 51-year-old white man who hates white people. Am I a racist? Well, I would think you're a self-hating white man. I mean, that's kind of weird. I think you could probably call that racism. You're a self-hating white man. I don't know why you would hate white people. I mean, you could hate what some white people do and say, but just to say you hate a whole entire class of people, That's just as bad, I think, as saying that you hate black people or you hate brown people. That's yeah. I'm going to say you're a racist. What say you guys in the chat? Was it Lug Dragon? Is Lug Dragon a racist? I'm gonna say yeah. You're a racist. You're a self-hating racist. Kiki Street says to say that Obama won because of that Romney, of what Romney said, is kind of racist. I think Obama won on his own. Well, you can look, I think, at the polling, and I think that once that tape was released, I think Obama started separating himself in the polling. But I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. Ada Benitez says, Trucker John, I did not mention Muslim and Gaza. You assumed. Well, I had been mentioning it even before then, before that previous post that I read of yours. I've mentioned it several times. Christina Sun Ghost says, my mother used to say that all the time. If you have nothing to say, just to keep your mouth shut. But then again, when, I'm not saying that people should be saying racist things, but also, what does someone take as being not nice? If you're just exposing something vile about that someone's doing, and then they might go, "Oh, hey man, you got nothing nice to say. Don't say no." But anyway, I know, I get it. Anyhow, guys, we are at 2.5 hours, well past the show. Well past the 2-hour mark, and I don't know if BB is still on or not. Oh yeah. So there's that. I guess I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Today's Tuesday, so I'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, at 11 a.m. Pacific time, right after the House Sparks show. So for all you sparklers out there, if you're watching Hal, after the show, just come on over and check out the old Trucker John. We'll hang out some more. Love Dragon says, I'm sorry, but after Betty White died, Whoopi took over as my favorite person on the planet Earth. Sorry, but I literally can't think of anybody else. Kinky Street says, never had a problem with Quebecois. I don't know. Anyhow, guys, we did get into some interesting stuff, I think. Things to think about, things to ponder. Let's not be racist. Let's not be bigots. Let's not be xenophobic. Let's try to be better. Let's be better. Let's be best. Let's be best. And I think we can do it. Let's lead by example. That's usually the best way to do it. Lead by example. By accepting everyone. That doesn't mean that you have to totally 100% agree with everything, but you can be accepting and you can allow others to live their lives. As long as they're not hurting anybody else, then let them live their lives. Let them live their true lives, their best lives that people can. It's none of your goddamn business. And I'm just speaking in general terms, I'm not saying like that to you guys. I'm just in general terms, it's no one's damn business, really, like what someone's sexual orientation is. And it's not right to just prejudge someone based on their skin color. Or maybe their name has a funny sounding name or whatever. That stuff's not right. So, and I know you guys in the chat, you don't do that. I know you guys are, except for Love Dragon. But so let's just strive to be better and to lead by example of how to live, how to comport ourselves. I guess that's the message of the day. Lead by example. Because whether you know it or not, you are influential. You are influential. Every single one of us is influential to the people around us. And that could be both in a good way and a bad way. If you're a piece of shit and you're an asshole, you could be influencing, especially if you got kids or something, you could be influencing them to be pieces of shit and assholes. And if you're a good person and you're loving and accepting and you're not judging people all over the place, then other people will see that too. And probably emulate that to some extent. So let's lead by example and try our best. Just try our best. And if you screw up and you mess up, which we all do from time to time on whatever, just know that you don't have to double down on that mistake. Sometimes we make a mistake and then people are like, you double down on it. No, you get up from that table and you go to the next table or whatever, and you start fresh. And you say, oh, God damn it, I fucked up. And I'm sorry. It doesn't hurt to say you're sorry, especially if you're sincere. If you mess up and you say something wrong or do something wrong, and then you realize it, you can own up to it and say, God damn it, I fucked up. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I hurt you. I am a dick. It's okay to call yourself a dick. It's okay to say and admit you made a mistake. And it's okay to then try and just pick up from there and not make that mistake again. Or, it's like Jesus said, go and sin no more. Go on about your way and sin no more. All right, guys. You awesome guys. You awesome 16 that stuck with me. That didn't go running off to Boston Brian or whomever else. I want to thank the nitty gritty 16 that stuck with me. Thank you guys so much. I'm waiting for the thing to come up. There it goes. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit the subscribe button. And if you have subscribed, maybe share the show out. Hit the like, and we can get more subscribers. We're up over 4,100 already. Let's keep it going, keep it growing. We'll be to 5,000. We'll figure out something. Maybe as we get close to 5,000, I'll think of either a challenge or a giveaway or something. I'm trying to think of other things to do. Some sort of giveaway. What would I give away as a giveaway? I'm just looking around. I'm not going to give you my watch, but anyhow. Well, but yeah, let's keep the show going and growing. And thank for all the support we got today. Today we got fan funding from Sandy Foltz, $2 super sticker. So thank you, Sandy Foltz, for that. And let's see. Let me go back to all messages. And that's it. I guess that's it. So all that's left is to do some words of wisdom. And then we'll be on about our way. Go Dodgers. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. right after House Sparks. Josh, collect the dead bugs around the apartment. Yeah, that would be kind of gross. All right, so get your pen and your paper out and get ready for the words of wisdom. Although that was kind of a words of wisdom that I just did, I think. But here's some more words of wisdom. Hey, guys, you ready? Here we go. So for today's words of wisdom, Here we go. Number one is always.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. My apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over, I'm out of here, folks. Bye.